HAPPYMUNKEY.
Jordan, we good? All right, so Jordan said we good. David, how we feeling?
Feeling good.
All right,
This
we
is gonna
good?
be a one.
All right, we got F Farms in the building. We got Tito in the building. We got the Gasa in the building. We got Kev in the building. We got Miyagi in the building. Everybody feeling good? Everybody good? We ready? Vlad, how you feeling?
Hey, come on, baby. Like I'm around the Cannabis Avengers, baby. Who better than me?
All right, today, we ready, Mr. Jordan? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? What the fuck is up? We here at the Happy Monkey Podcast. We got a full room today because this is how we like it, because the energy, the room is full of fucking legends out here in these streets, right? And it's special because we get to bring people out the shadows. This was kind of like our first, that was like our intentions when we brought back the podcast. We got Kev, we got the Titos. When we bought, because we want all our legends that we grew up under to now get their flowers, right? As far as like, you know, let's say, I'll compare it to Drink Champs. I want to make sure that our legends don't just die out. They don't just leave, because for a very long time, everybody had to live in the shadows, right? So I'm glad that we have the opportunity, you know, all these years to kind of cultivate a kind of like safe hub for the guys to come out the shadows. So for me, this episode is special because we get to bring out somebody who's been in the shadows for a very long time, but been in the game for a very long time. Because just like he said before the cameras came on, brothers was playing for keeps back then. So you got to kind of keep in the shadows, right? So today, you know, we got somebody special, you know, streetcar shit, growing weed shit, and even getting into the legal space. I don't know many people who's gone into the legacy to legal on the growing space, right? Because now we know the retailers, we down with the card program. So we know a lot of people who went from legacy to legal as far as that. But as far as growers, especially in New York, you know, I guess in this era, everybody was
Especially from Uptown.
Uptown, you don't have many people that come from this space. So today, I want to introduce to everybody, whether you know him or not, you're going to learn about him today, and you're going to know about him today, motherfuckers. Today, we got my man, and and I'm going to get a little Spanish with it, because your name is Jose, but everybody calls you Joe, La Marina boy, Bermudez today, everybody. Let's go, give him a little bit of noise today, because, you know, today we popping his cherry. It's the first time you ever do a real interview, and I am honored that you chose us for this, because this feels good. You know, we got the fellas in the room.
Yes,
it's lit today. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Yes,
Vlad, anything else? Did I leave, you know, before we get into it? I know you got some updates or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah, definitely got some updates, man. We've been telling y'all for a while, but now the clock is ticking, and, you know, we've been telling you we're coming soon to theater near you. Make sure you hit the bio and the link if you want to work in cannabis, you want to work with a brand like ours, because we always say we coming soon to Dykeman and we're coming soon to Brooklyn, but the shit has sped up and we will be in Dykeman before the summer ends. So remember where you heard it first. If you want to get the merch, use the code LISTEN to get 20% off. If you keep on sending us the art pieces, the voicemails, the feedback, we appreciate it. And now let's get into it, baby, because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like Ramon said, man, you know, the truth is that a large portion of this New York game got built uptown, and unfortunately there's very few of our legends and heroes left out here, and people need to know that this $4, $5, $6 billion industry did not get created in the last 3 years. There was a lot of blood, sweat, tears, deportations, families divided, you know, people got killed, all kinds of stuff happened so this could be here today. So people need to know who put in the work when you said earlier people were playing for keeps, and you really had to really live this life to the fullest because there was no half-stepping.
Absolutely, man. Before we get crazy deep into the whole, you know, legacy and all the past, present, future, because we gonna get crazy into all of these stuff. I ask everybody, because I like to make sure that people give me their young version of themselves a little bit, right? So I honestly just want to know, when was your first time getting high? Like, when was like your first like time, like the first interaction? Was it a joint? What kind of music was in the air? What year? Like, was it haraka? You know what I mean? Like,
I was definitely haraka. I'm that old. It was definitely haraka. I think it was with my compadre Weasel. Weasel was a skater, and, smoker, and don't hold this against me, but when I first tried weed, it wasn't my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it used to get me really stuck and like really heavy, and I didn't, at first, it wasn't really my thing, but I would smoke with Dave, because, me and Dave are boys, and that's what we used to do. But then I stopped for some time, and then when I started smoking again, I started smoking heavy. There was a El Viejo from 186 that had the Hawaiiana.
wow.
I don't remember his name, but I don't know if you guys remember back in the days that, some of the big, which was good weed. Then a couple of years later, we got put on to Elliot and Walton. Remember that?
Elliot.
Them guys out there in Elliot and Walton.
In the Bronx.
They just had that shit. Like, it was always the same weed and good stuff. And then as we started to transition, and learning about weed, I used to go to Florida a lot to go fishing with my boys and whatever. And that's why I started to see first the Crippy,
El Creepy.
And then a few years later, I saw a really bad batch of Haze. That shit was horrible. It was crazy wet. It was whatever, but it was special, yo. When I lit it, and that incense in the air, I was like, yo, this is something.
Something.
Yeah, that's like, smoked after that for like 15 years, just Haze.
Just Haze.
But yeah, my first was definitely Harakas. I'm trying to think about where we even got it from. I don't know if he stole it from one of his uncles. Might have stolen it. Something. I don't quite remember, but yeah, it was definitely Weasel, and it was definitely I was probably 14 years old, something like that.
Everybody started young back then.
Yeah, everybody that we speak to always tells me that they started in their teens somehow. We get very rare that we get a person that says, yo, we started as an adult. But most people, right? Most people 14, 12, 13, some crazy wild shit like that,
My mother would have fucked me up.
So Ramon knows you a little bit better than me because, you got, connections to his brother. But I want to know, like, what block were you from and how was it growing up there?
It was everything.
All right, so my early years, actually my early years was on 181st Street. I used to live in the building next to George's Pizza.
181st?
181st, right next to George's Pizza, 728 West 181st. Then I think when I was about 9, we moved to 189.
189.
189 used to be rocking this, ain't Nick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so got to 189 and changed my life, changed my whole perspective on a lot of shit. A lot of my friends then, their uncles were hustlers and running the streets hard. So it was kind of like a culture shock for me because I didn't see any of that when I lived in 181st. And now here there's this whole different culture and there's this whole different game of hustle and that's why I say loyalty, respect, legacy all the time because you can't get to legacy if you don't have loyalty, you don't have respect. There's no way. That's the roadmap, and that's what I learned early on. Like we were talking before, everybody used to play for keeps. So you had to trust dearly.
What's crazy there, and we mentioned this, we talked about this before, the difference of the worlds of each block. He did not say a mile away. He said from 181st to 189 was a whole completely different planet. So just so people understand how different the world was uptown, right? How just in general how uptown works, right? It was just like a whole different planet, right? Going from 181st to 189.
Yeah, it was a different world. Straight up, it was a totally different world. Like in 181st, I'm gonna say we grew up sheltered. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Cubans, and but when I got to 189. Everything changed. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was outside, you know what I mean? And running around and doing wild shit. And I don't know, it just came natural, you know what I'm saying? I guess, I saw that. I often say that, a lot of us are products of our own environment. It's not that we didn't want to be successful. but what we saw as successful was not really true. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at the guys in front of the Boleh guys hanging out and they got their cars and shit like that, and you're like,
You're not seeing lawyers and doctors. That's what you're seeing.
100%, 100%. So, you know, so you strive to be the best at what you see. You know, and for a lot of us in the city, unfortunately, especially growing up around us with no technology and stuff like that, you was really absorbed into what was happening in your neighborhood.
So then let me ask you something, right? I like that you said that. You had a choice because back then weed wasn't the thing. It wasn't popular to do that, and the niggas that was getting money wasn't selling weed. It was coke, dope, everything else except for weed. So what made you go, fuck all this other shit? I like this right here.
Oh man, shit, it's kind of crazy. It's a wild story, you know. My daughter's godfather, he always been legal, always, you know, he's a realtor uptown for many years. Everybody knows him, and his office was coaching little league kids, PAL. We got 8 to 10 years old.
PAL, that was everybody.
So he comes and he asks me, he's like, yo, I need help with this. I want you to help me. Now that I look back, I don't think I was really helping them. I think they was helping me. You know what I'm saying? Because in those years, I'm a small family. You know, when my family came from Cuba, it was just my mom, my grandfather. I don't have a big family in the U.S. So when I went to go do this and I started seeing these kids, and they were good kids, but they were caught up in negative environments. You know, your parents had addictions or you know, just irresponsible, whatever it is. But these kids used to come and you know their clothes is dirty. They don't have a baseball glove. You know, this type of stuff and all that. You know, I did it for 4 years. The last year we did it, we won the championship.
Nice.
But that transition in there was based on being like, yo, I'm a community builder. I ain't trying to, you know what I'm saying? So when I told you guys, you know, earlier on about, or I wrote in the questionnaire about God first, that's the absolute truth. Because throughout my life, he has played a role. Even though he's put a roadblock in front of me that, shit, I thought it was the end of the world. But when I got around it, it was really a blessing. You know what I'm saying? And these kids were that. These kids were that. And I was like, yo, fuck that. But I had already seen Haze. I'd already seen it in Florida in the early 90s. But I didn't know that's what I was going to do. So I met Kev and some other guys, and I saw that was a future. The only dude that I knew from Uptown that made money off of weed was Ruben.
Everybody says, everybody on here says that he's like the first big block uptown.
Listen, Ruben used to drive, I believe he used to drive a 560 SEL, if I remember, 2-door, coupe, black. And I didn't know who he was at the time. I think Benji back then was like, no, that's Ruben.
What Benji? Motorcycle Benji?
This Ruben from 174.
I'm uptown, man. I'm uptown.
174 and Audible.
Yeah, and then it's probably the first time that I saw marketing. Because in front of their building, the lamppost up high had the Rasta colors painted on it.
Oh,
to tell
that's
you
genius.
That's where it was at.
That's
crazy.
Genius.
Crazy shit, right? Yeah.
That's
Again, legacy marketing at its finest.
Wow.
So,
what year was that, you think?
Man, shit. I don't know, it was like 88, right? Somewhere
Wow.
88? Yeah, back then.
89. What? Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
88, 89.
Yeah. So he was doing it. Like, you couldn't tell the difference. I remember when you had a party in a club and, it was open champagne bottles for everybody. So that always stayed with me, right? But I didn't have, my relationship with weed was more of a relationship to keep me sane in the fast life that I was living. So between weed and street racing, it kind of like normalized my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted to be normal, because, a lot of times you got to be careful what you ask for. You know what I'm
let's get a little bit into the street racing part, because I know we'll get into the rest of the guys later, because we got a couple of questions, but it's interesting for me, and I know me and David was talking about this earlier. We want to know a little bit more, right? Because one of the first conversations, even me and you, because me and you just met recently, right? But one of the first conversations, he was like, "Yeah, Tone with the M5."
That's right.
So anybody who associates my brother with a car or something like that is a car person, because my brother's a car person, right? So I'm interested, like, because that shit is also big culture uptown too. It's car culture.
Absolutely.
Hard body. So how did you kind of like get into that, and like what was like your first, like, your first loud, crazy, like, like, let me know, like,
because people don't know the street racing culture in New York was like real hood, Fast and the Furious, from what I hear back then.
Oh yeah, let's touch on all that. All right, so
it was closing down streets.
So what happened was, growing up as a kid in the Heights, I was that little kid, just like Benji, on a bicycle doing wheelies on Amsterdam on Sundays. Remember, they used to race behind the bend.
Crazy.
Down the 510s and the shit like that, and I always had this passion. Like when I was young, when I was a little kid, I had a wheel for the laundry carts, to go to the market. And I used to sit there for hours and just daydream that I was racing. So it was just like always in me. My first car, I think, was a 1969 Datsun 510.
Datsun.
Yeah, and then when I started really getting heavy into street racing, it was Hondas. Turbo cars,
CRXs and all that.
I had a Civic. It was a Civic, but it was the best, man. Those are great times. Like street racing really was like a part of my life that I really.
But you gotta take us there, because that don't really exist now. You gotta take us there. Like how was it going down?
We gotta shout out Ito. We gotta shout out Rafael Esteves. All right, Rafael Esteves is from 183rd, probably one of the most legendary street racers out of the Heights. That is correct about Fast and the Furious. Fast and the Furious was a storyline that was developed out of the Heights.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Vibe,
really?
Yeah, Vibe magazine. It was Vibe? I think it was Vibe. It was Racer X was the article. So what happened was, I believe this writer that wrote for Vibe, I don't remember his name. He was out in Cali, and I think out there he got word that, if you want to see these street races like these, you got to go east. So he came and he met, he hung out with us and whatever. And then I guess he wrote the article, and from there it ignited the storyline. And Ralph was actually, right? Hey, Ralph was a consultant on the first movie, right?
That's great.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, and Ralphie's family has a lot of history. Like the 183rd is named after his dad.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, like Ralph. Yeah, he
wow.
was. Yeah. Back in the days, I think that he had to do with getting some of the first Latinos into the 34th precinct. You know what I'm saying? Like his dad was big into community, in the neighborhood, and very prideful in being Dominican, from what I remember. But yeah, so the whole story, so basically, man, it was, we raced 7 days a week.
Take us to like a prime time day when there's a prime time race, the scenery, how it goes down. How do you get a race going? Like, just take us to one of your most memorable ones, and you gotta remember, like, we don't got no view into how it's going down.
Like behind G Dubs or the 135th Bridge, like what,
It would be different places. Like, first was behind the bend, then Dykeman, because we started racing on the west side there. We closed it off, and we raced on the Bruckner, and Hunts Point was always famous. But basically, it was definitely a lot of trash talking, right? Everybody trash talking all day.
And bad money too, right?
All day. Yeah, no, big money. Big money. Everybody would bet, bro. People bring their rent money, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was, if I can never say, like, I never gambled. I've been to Vegas a couple of times. I don't think I've ever pulled a slot. But when it was betting on myself and it was street racing, I guess I was at one time. I had an addiction to gambling.
I heard dudes was putting titles up, all kinds of shit.
All kind. And it got to a point where you actually had to tone it down, because some people were really sore losers. You know what I'm saying? And that shit would become a problem.
That's wild. If y'all closing down Dykeman, like, what are you closing down? Like the highway? Some of that. So come on, that's like wild.
That's what I'm saying.
Shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like I wasn't there. I'm trying to live through you, how it was going down.
My brother, I could tell you, like easily 100, 150 cars, tons of people. You know what I'm saying? And everybody just arguing and trying to bet and trying to figure out a race. You know, and then we probably get chased around half the night by the cops. So we find a place where we can get off the race and go home. But yeah, the
Quarter mile?
No, 0.8 of a mile on the west side.
So it'll be from Dykeman going down, or
going down to the bridge. Yeah.
So from Dykeman to the
bridge, right? We would get on there and stop the cars coming down from the toll. Let the highway clear, and then line up and go.
Crazy.
So it was slower, right? Of course, like, you know, Hunts Point was, you know, short stuff and behind the bend. But as the cars got faster, you know what I'm saying, we needed more legs, and that's when all that shit happened. So yeah, street racing was.
Since when? Since like the 80s, then type of shit.
For me,
yeah.
I got my license in like 86. I think I got my license. 85, some shit like that.
Give me the best 2 cars you saw go at it, and the best raiders that you witnessed back then. That was like it was crazy. Like 2 cars from back then that was like going at it.
Man, I think it was a race against I think it was a Supra.
Supra.
Yeah, but it was a first gen.
Supras.
It was a first gen Supra on nitrous against a white Porsche. And that
Niggas stunting uptown. I don't know what I mean? Niggas been stunting uptown, B. We talking to 80 niggas. That's crazy.
And a Porsche.
So yeah, and there was a little bit of, you know, I mean, man, there was another race. There was this red Porsche around. These kids bought really fast car, but they weren't racers, you know. And it might even been Ralphie that was driving the car. He raced a couple of times and beat him, and the guy was really mad, and he was coming back with more money to race again. And they was like, yo, let's lower the purse and let him win. Like,
fucking coño.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like sometimes you just gotta, right?
You gotta do conflict resolution.
Ed used to be out there. Ed knows.
Conflict resolution.
Kevin talked all this trash that he never used to like to go to the street racing with me or whatever. But he had a motorcycle at one point, and they used to race out there, and he used to come out and enjoy himself too. You know?
People used to go out and show off their whips too in the races.
Yeah, it was crazy. You got the new joint.
You know?
I used to hear about it because I'm from 139th from Broadway, and I used to hear because you know that's before my time. Like the OGs, like telling me, we just came from Dykeman, we just came from Hunts Point, we just came. You know what I mean?
I got all those stories at home. You know what I mean? So, you know, you talking 86, 87. You know, I'm 4, 5, 6 years old. You know, all the brothers, they coming back home all hype, and I'm hearing all the stories. I know what's going on. You know what I mean? I'm there with everybody, type of shit. Yeah. So I feel it, man.
We would do it to the sun up, man. Like for real. Like it was a beautiful time, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I wish I could be young and reckless again.
All right, so then how did the Kev and Joe union begin?
Oh shit! I was Kev's custody.
And
now I'm his personal roller.
You was disgusting.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I used to go to the block. This was before Kevin. Back then, right? It was like the bubble gum and the AK, right? Real early on.
Canadians?
So, it was early. And
92.
Yeah, I think a little earlier, actually. But anyway, the point is that I used to go there, and Kev used to sell 50s.
50s.
Kev used to sell 50s. Just, I guess, to certain people, not open to the open market. But I used to deal with Mikey. I knew Mikey through other friends of mine from 174. And Mikey and Kevin, you know, go back, almost 40 years, right, probably? So I used to come and cop there. And so I don't know how me and Kev, I was outside one day waiting. I think Mikey went upstairs and he introduced me. But Kev thought I was, shout out to Spiro, shout out to Wimpy Burger, right?
Wimpy's Burger.
Yeah, shout out to Wimpy Burger. Because that had me confused because Spiro from Wimpy Burger used to have the same car in a different color as me. So anyway, I thought I was him. But Kev, we started talking, whatever. And Kev will tell you he didn't like me at first, but he's full of shit. But we had was that Club X? No, that was Club New York, right? That was Café con Leche? All right, Café con Leche.
Okay.
So Kevin, so I'm there.
So I didn't like him because I heard he had money, and I don't like people with money. So I would be like this this guy thinks he's all that because he got paper. Like, you know, like, so I show up to the club and Joe's in there, and Joe's got like 2 buckets full of like Cristal or wet. I'm like, oh, typical.
Typical.
He's the typical Uptown with the dude. Right.
So he tells me, he's like, yo, come on, come drink with me. I was like, nah, I got my own money. I'm good. He goes, yo, but I didn't pay for this. This guy owes me money. I was like, who? And he points out. I said, that motherfucker owes me money too. So I grabbed the bottles and...
Okay, yeah, now we drink it. Yeah, now...
So
we had a dope night. Like, we had an amazing night. Crowd, like...
It was an amazing night. And after that, you know, like, it was pure, right? Because it wasn't about work. It wasn't about the streets. It wasn't about nothing. It was just... We out at the club and we enjoying ourselves. But for the record, I wasn't like that. I didn't pop champagne bottles. Like, that was never
And the clubs
shit.
and the clubs for a long time was always the place where you kind of network at, right? Because there was no technology. There was no, I'm not going to see you in the daytime. Like me, you know, there's no, you know, we're not crossing.
That was the social media. That was the social gathering.
You got to come
the
outside.
network. That was a social network.
And it was the car show as well, right? Because you had to roll out front before you pulled into the garage. Bang,
Speaking of cars, what was some of your highlight cars back then that you know was stopping the show?
Oh man, shit! At one point I used to drive a 930 rough Porsche at one time.
Come on, man, dudes is over here.
You ain't gotta humbly say that.
Saabs and Beamers, and my man's over here driving Porsches.
Yeah. Yo, long story with the car. It used to belong to a friend of mine, and they had rebuilt the car and whatever, and somehow I ended up with the car. But so we go to a race in Englishtown, and this is what changed. I had a Civic.
Englishtown, where's Englishtown at?
Englishtown, New Jersey. It was
Englishtown, New
what was it?
Jersey.
Raceway Park. It was called, right?
Raceway
Park. Yeah, it's closed now. So anyway, we out there and we're racing and stuff, and this little Asian kid in a Honda wins the event, right? And I went home in a tow truck because I broke my car. I was like, yo. Because my addiction is to horsepower. And I was like, yo, we're going to sell this shit. And so I'll take my Civic tomorrow, and we're going to rip that shit up, and we're going to build the Civic. So when I talk about the Porsche saying that it was most of my whole highlight cars, it was because of the speed, not because of anything else. You know what I'm saying? But once I started messing with Hondas, I didn't really care about anything else. Honda was cheap, reliable, fast. I did that for a long time.
Yo, shout out to Honda. Send us that check, God.
So, Joe, tell me now, because you told us how you met Kev, you told us you smoked, you told us how you got in the culture. What was the time when you said, you know what, let me try this green thumb out and try my talents on the growing side?
I think it happened because we just didn't have enough. Basically,
that was a good problem to have, man.
That's enough problem to have, boy. What?
But it wasn't like that. Like, it was terrible, man. Like, we'd have to go to Florida and get the clones. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know how to rule. You know, we didn't know how to make clones. We didn't know about moms. We didn't know about none of that. So even though there was trust, it was still unleashed. That, you know, we had to come and get this till we started learning. But I think it was over necessity over anything. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, growing is all of it is hard, man. The whole weed thing is hard, right? Because if you're a grower, you got to be a hermit. Right?
You gotta be a hermit.
You got to be a hermit. A grower's life is a hermit's life back
definitely
then. That was
one of my next questions.
You know what I'm saying? That's facts, you know?
You didn't have much of a social life.
Nah.
I'm saying, like, whoever was really in that grower world,
but
like
you
you
wouldn't
was
expand. You understand what I'm saying? Like you know, one of Kevin's things was like, back in the days, like, I don't need any more friends. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because you had a lot of explaining to do. Like, we lied for over 20-something. Yo, now that I can tell the truth, shit, man, you can't get me to lie about nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It was like you was living double lives.
yeah. So then when you run into somebody or you meet somebody new, you got to give them this whole backstory, because at some point, what do you do, and da 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 da. You see what I'm saying? So it was like that. And then if you was a block dude, and you had to watch yourself all the time.
Absolutely. You can't tell people you a grower. That's not even like a thing, right? Kev, that wasn't even a thing. Like, everybody was like.
I think Shark used to say at first he was a horticulturalist. Nobody knew what the fuck that was.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. Even now, I'm like, what? Well, what did he just say? Like,
oh man.
yeah, that wasn't a thing people spoke about. Like, you know, you kept that shit in the secrets,
you
right?
had to,
So
yeah.
then that was leading up to this. It's like, when did you go, fuck it? I think because every grower is, you know, I can't talk about everybody, right? But from what I saw, you know, from the friends and the brothers that I saw, there was that moment when they kind of went and they said, yeah, fuck the world, and I'm just gonna do this, and I'm not really gonna talk to anybody for a little while. When did you kind of like decide that? Like, was it like your first hit when you first saw your first grow, or was it like the third one? Like, when was like the time when you was like, you know what, it's over for, like, this is what I love.
I never really did it at first full time. I was always on both sides. Like, you know, I sold work and I grew a little bit, right? Now, my whole career here in this legal market, that's what, you know, like I like to tell people, like, you know, my first legal gig was 2015 in Washington State. So I used to fly straight across the country, and jump in a rental car and drive 4 hours through the Cascade Mountains.
Like Seattle, Washington kind of thing.
Yeah. And I did that for 2 years, right? Because the legal market was coming, and I felt like Kev and I were going to be dinosaurs. So I went, I did it, I learned a shitload, and then from there I just kept doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I never had a grow full time, like for multiple years or shit like that. I dabbled on and off. I've always liked plants. Even, you know, when I was a bachelor, lived alone and had my own apartment, I had plants. I just always had a thing with greenery, so it came pretty natural. You know?
Yeah, you kind of disappeared, man. You kind of, you know, you
I went to
became
get
a
it.
myth. Yeah, you became a myth.
You know, Kev held it down,
Right.
and I went to get it to bring it back. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I had to go through shit. We did Washington, then I did Oregon, then I did Michigan, and now I've been in Florida for 3 years. But that was my route back, and most of that shit was outdoors. You know, I like to say I left a grower and I came back a cultivator. You know what I'm saying? Because
There's a difference.
oh yeah, absolutely. A grower reads bottles and, you know, follows recipes, and you know what I mean. Like as a cultivator, you know, you're looking. You're looking for people to lost my thought. I'm high as hell.
A cultivator.
Now you're saying the difference between a grower and a cultivator.
A cultivator is somebody who can identify early what's going on with the plant and add single inputs. You know, like one of the jokes is a lot of growers, they'll be like, oh, they see something with the plant wrong, you know, add CalMag. That fixes everything. It's not true. You know, it don't make the plant look better, but it's not. So learning what the plant is telling you, you know what I'm saying, and building that symbolic relationship. Like when I was out in Washington, watered every plant by hand. And it was a 2 acre, I don't know, it's probably about 1,600 plants, you know? And so you learn, you know, when you spend time with the plant, you learn. You're looking at the plant every day. You're seeing the differences. You see the changes. You learn, and it just came easy. But I had a great support in Washington, because them guys over there, like, you know, they've been growing in the mountains for years.
Like you had some mentors over there.
Yeah, and they shared a lot of information. When I first got there, I didn't even understand their language. I didn't even understand what the fuck they was talking. You know what I'm saying? Like it was different, because
what years were these?
Shit, what year I left? I was in Washington 2015 to 2017. I did Washington State, and that was an organic grow. So I had never grown organic. I had only grown with bottles and, you know, GH, what everybody used to grow back then, and 3-2-1, and that's what it was, you know. But when I got offered this position, actually, it's crazy. I got to Washington through somebody that I'm sure everybody in this room knows. His name is Anthony. He's a big time jogger. He's always jogging in the heights or whatever. And back in 2015, early 2015, I was racing to go park my friend's car because I had to rush to the airport, and I almost ran his ass over. Back on Indian Road by 215 up there in Seaman. He was coming across, and I look at him, and I was like, yo. So we get to talking. He's like, yo, where you been? You know, I spent some years taking care of my daughter. Shout out to my daughter, Mila. And I was looking for something to do, you know, to get back in. I was seeing what was going on, and I was like, yo, I don't know. I think I want to go out west and see what this gold rush is about. And he just happened to tell me, yo, I just met somebody the other day from Washington, and he's a pretty cool guy, and he has a farm and whatever. And, yo, on my birthday, I was on the plane, and I was gone, and I was over there to meet him and talk to him. I came back in 3 days, and I was like, no fucking way. I ain't doing that shit. This shit was rural. Like, dude, like, this was the population was like 500 and something people.
Nah.
You call the cops. The cops call the neighbor to come check on you. Because there is none. Like, they far. Yo, it was crazy. It was wild. It taught me a lot.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
What part of Washington is this?
It's a little town called Twisp, Washington.
Twisp, Washington.
Yes.
Sounds like some rural shit.
Shout out to them though. Fuck it. Because he like, that's crazy. My man was in Washington.
Yeah. So
That's where you grew the beard at?
that's why I grew the beard. Great question. That's why I grew the beard. Yeah. So I went over there, right? Boom, you know, go over there like a, you know, I get there, yo, everybody's looking at me like I'm an alien. So that all made me feel uncomfortable and whatever, and I was like, yo, I'm leaving, right? So I get back home, you know, a couple of months go by, and I'm like, damn, nothing else is popping off, right? And then I just come to the point where I feel I'm like, yo, it's being telling me, yo, you know what? You asked for something, you get it, you know, and now you want to kick the tires? Like it's a start, you know what I'm saying? Like they say, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, right? And I felt like that's what I was doing. And I went back. And I helped harvest, and then I ran the farm in 2016 and 2017. Learned how to grow organics, became a soil nerd. Shout out to Elaine Ingram. Shout out to Organic Brian, Vital Garden Supplies. And, you know, I just watched people that knew. Shout out to Mendel Dope Boys. I learned a lot from them online. And, you know, it's
dope.
Right? The necessity, right?
Had it just legalized over there? Or was it on the cusp?
No. It was medical, but when I went, it was transitioning into rec.
Okay.
Medical was going away, and rec was coming in. It's the first time I ever, yo, man, we loaded a car with fucking shopping bags of weed to go make deliveries. And we went over the fucking mountain like nothing and went to these stores and shit, like, you know, like we were bringing food. Hey, how you doing? Hey, your shit. Yeah. And everything was cash. I was like, bro, this would never work. East Coast. You're crazy. Yo.
Up in carts and bags of cash.
Just like that.
Oh my God.
Just like that. Just driving around, Now you had to report the route you were gonna be on to the state and stuff before you left. And you know, there were certain things, but it was really lax. You know, for an East Coaster like us, we think in a million ways.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah. But also, Washington blew my mind, bro. I live in Florida, right? You know, Florida's big. In Washington State, you can authorize a signature and I can sign the check and give it to you, and you can sign it and you can go cash it.
So what you mean? So we could have a quick transaction right here, and I can just go take.
Yeah, it's like a second endorsement, right? You can't do that nowhere. That check has to be written to you.
Yeah.
Right? And it could be written to you.
You can transfer it to Ramon.
And Ramon signs it and deposit. I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck are you? Like, where we living? Like, I love you people, yo. Because it was like, you feel me? I come from a place where you like, you know, you got your guard up all the time.
The wild, wild west for real.
And he is like, yo, it different. I was like, wow, trust. Like
okay.
Really cool shit. You know what I mean?
All the forest fire.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, my God. The Carlton Complex fire. Holy moly, yo.
Oh, what's that about? What you mean? What happened?
Yeah, it's a big fire. So, of course, you know, you're out in the mountains. Something else I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Is that in the summer when you have lightning storms, that shit's real dry. It causes...
Forest fires?
Forest fires. Wow, but, yo, crazy fires. They would have fire. They had a fire jumper school out there. Motherfuckers would jump off helicopters into the fire. Straight up.
Wow. Who is doing that?
Yo, crazy. Yo, insane fire. Yeah.
White people.
So
thank you, Kev. Somebody got to say it.
Yeah. And you learn the wildest shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fire's on the other side of the ridge, right? And we're on the other side, and I'm watering plants because till the fire don't get there, you know what I'm saying? But this is crazy. The sheriff shows up, and he's like, yo, you guys got to go.
Damn.
Right?
Out of them plants, boy, it's over.
And I tell him, I was like, I ain't leaving. I was like, I got a truck. I can leave through the back if I got to go. But I was like, yo, that Connex has mad harvested weed. And I was like, I'm dumping it in the truck and taking it with me. And he told me, if you leave now, I hope you load it.
That's crazy.
You feel me?
That's crazy.
It was different. So
that is insane.
Yeah, I hope you load it.
That is insane. So yeah, that's
That in Miami.
Nah, it was just wild. Yo, we came down the mine. I think Rich, my boy from 181st, Rich was out there with me. And he was sitting in the front seat, and there was this, we had to leave, yo. There was a whole greenhouse of GG number 4. And this shit was like, yo, it was over the trellis and snapping the branches. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And Richie was like, yo, we can't. And he cut off a piece and he had it around his neck like a lei. like a Hawaiian shit. And driving down, yo, on the bottom of the road, the cops are there. We're like, hey. They're like, hey, made it right.
That's insane.
And just go. It was different. So
Yeah,
it was
you can't
culture
do
shock
that.
to me.
Can't do that shit
Hell
here.
yeah.
You get caught with a
cannot do
dime
that
bag
shit
in the
here.
hood and you got a problem. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
you out here and everything is different and it's not, it didn't have that stigma or that, or you know, that doing bad stuff. Like it was just,
Yeah, nobody cared. The whole town know about weed and nobody cared. Yeah.
so it was again, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
so
saying?
you
Just
was
part
like-
of the journey.
So you was like, fuck it, I'm gonna grow this beard and it's on. That's it. We go
Like
and we
that.
go hang out
Yeah.
and
yeah.
grow weed and we go be here. Nah, and it's crazy to hear that story because we don't know. I mean, I don't know anybody from Uptown that's gone through this and went to the West Coast and kind of learned like the legal ways and like, you know, that's a big deal. We don't have this, right?
Yeah.
Nah, man, that's shit.
So from there, that started your journey, and then you kept on going, right? When it comes to like growing and being involved in the legal industry. So what happened from there?
Yeah, so you know, like I said, I came home. I took like a year and change off, and then I started hanging out and going to events in Florida. From there came an opportunity to do something in Oregon. So we went back out there. That was light depth greenhouses. Did that for a year. And while going to these events, I met my partner in Florida, and it's crazy. It's just crazy the way it happens. Anyway, by the way, I'm addicted to coffee, to Cuban coffee, right?
Oh man.
So let's just start there. So we're at
Fuck
this.
with the cortadito.
So not really coffee, fucking espresso type of shit. Like,
Rocket
Cuban shit,
fuel.
yeah.
Rocket
So we're at this event. We're at this weed event, and I was like, damn, bro, I could use some coffee. Yeah, and I start smelling coffee, and like a fucking shark with blood in the water takes me to this booth. Bam. And I'm like, yo, so they were colando un cafecito. So I start asking questions about what they're doing or whatever. And the dude tells me, Manny tells me, he goes to me. He's like, yo, you from the Heights, right?
Damn, Florida?
Right? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I've been looking for you. I'm like, fuck, it's bugging. So he's like, yo, we should talk after this or whatever. He's like, I have a dinner. I forgot who it was. Some guys out of Puerto Rico that were growing and educating out there in PR. So we go out to the dinner, whatever. We're talking shit, whatever. And then, you know, as we get to talking, I find out about his history, and, you know, they grew a lot of haze back then or whatever. And he was like, man, I need somebody like you to help me out here and whatever, to cross this finish line. And, man, within a couple of months of just grinding and putting ourselves out there, the medical market in Florida was going, but there wasn't really any good weed, you know. And it opened up an opportunity, and, you know, Freedom Town was born from there, and that's what we operate under in Florida. I've been doing that 3 years now. You know?
that's big.
That's like I'm gonna say, it's all intervention. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's like crazy. How you gonna pull up somewhere home from the Heights? I've been looking for you. I was like, you know what I mean? So it's like I say, it just happened because it was meant to be, my brother. I put in the work, and at the end of the day, it was a destiny that we had to do. And now the big plan is that we got to make it back up north, you know what I'm saying? And We got to get the Marina boys in stores, and we got to get them legal. And you know, our approach of that is a little different. I believe it's difficult to let other people cultivate your genetics.
That is
Okay.
difficult.
Right? And especially when it represents your brand, you want more control of that. From what I've seen across this country and friends of mine that have, you know, done branding deals that either don't work out or the flower isn't good and it's not a good representation, and then what do you do? Like, because
You don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
Right. So, you know, our approach is a little different in New York. It's a little slower, but, you know, we want to be in the position where, you know, the cultivation is run by us. So we keep the integrity from A to Z, you know what I'm saying? From clone to end user, integrity the whole way.
So how do you feel now, Joe, after this whole journey from 88 to Oregon to Washington to Florida and back, and now you come back home and this shit is legal now and it's going down and it's moving, and now we got like almost 200 stores and all this stuff is happening. How does that first go when you first hear about it and you come see all this?
Little Tom and Jerry getting boxes, all sorts of shit going on now. This is crazy.
Yeah. Like New York definitely changed. Like we was talking earlier, like the menus outside was probably the first things I started seeing when I came out. Like when, you know, everything was built and I was able to come to New York and start doing things again. I seen menus in front of buildings. I was like, yo, where? Like what?
Some New York shit.
I was like, this shit is Gotham City. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Kevin be coming over the bridge from Jersey, and you can start saying, like, yo, that's Gotham City, bro. Like that, like it's wild. There's weed everywhere.
You can't make this shit up.
No, you can't. And the fact that it's legal and you can smoke it outside and you can smoke it wherever, like it's just, it's. I don't think I've been in another state where it was really like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of freedom in New York, you know, and it's a good thing.
But it was, I could imagine, did you ever think you would see this like this back then?
No, never, absolutely not. There's no way I can ever think that, you know. Who would have? Any of you guys? Nah, bro. Any of you guys thought about that? Nah.
Well, we asked that because this I know it's a room full of Uptown, so it's a different perspective in the room.
Yeah, let's talk about some of that.
All our downtown friends have a different experience, even though you know Rudy Giuliani era and everybody, you know, for stop and frisk, all that shit was happening in Uptown.
Yes.
My downtown friends wasn't getting arrested much for smoking weed. You know what I mean? Like, forget about even selling weed and forget about the other levels of weed. Just smoking weed. They wasn't getting arrested for the night. You know
Put it
what I
out.
mean?
Put it out. That's the most that would happen to them.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just saying, you know, in the room, we've all been in situations for just smoking. I'm not even going to go past that.
That's a fact. We were just talking about that earlier.
We were the cops overtime.
Yeah.
Straight up.
We need to bust the guy in a weed spot, so the cops would just load up on us all the time.
The vacation money.
Real easy. You know what I mean? Spend a little 24-hour therapy real quick through the, you know, and then,
Just going through the system, right?
you know.
Yeah, back then, right?
Well,
It was,
well,
yeah.
look,
72
It was
hours.
72.
wow.
When
You guys got a break when it was 24.
Oh, so we got, yeah.
So,
and just when you
let's
get to the dealing like in heavy, you know, to maintain the whole market, then you know you're thinking about the feds, you're thinking about all types of stuff because it was really serious to be able to see people walk around with a trunk full of weed right now and open it up in any given places.
That's why I wanted to ask him. The next question of mine was like, so you come, you see the menus and all that, but then from when this legalized like 3-4 years ago, then 5,000 illegal shops throughout everywhere, all over the place. You know what I mean? So then, did you think you would see that, and how you feel when you saw that? Like every corner, every bodega, everywhere, gas station, everywhere.
I was thinking maybe I went legal too soon. You know what I'm saying? Because you man, like there's so much weed. Like one of my friend's daughters that I didn't even know smoked. She came to Florida and she was like, "Yo," and I was like, "You smoke?" I was like, "Where you get your weed from in New York?" And she was like, from this deli. And I was like, what? Like,
Oh man.
She was like, I went in to get a coffee or a sandwich or some shit. Or oh no, she went in to get a Philly or a blunt or whatever.
Whatever.
And
Backwood
homeboy was
or
like, you
Dutch.
need something for inside of there? And that's what she gets. So even before I came and saw it, I was hearing, and I was like,
At a deli?
at a deli. Like that, be ham, egg, and cheese, coffee, and a 20. Let's go, right? So, but nah, who could have ever imagined that it would be like this? Like there was probably at one point more smoke shops and delis in the city operating than there was gray market spots.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Because that's another one you pointed out good there, Joe. Like people don't understand that legal happened. There was already legacy. Then this was a whole different thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whole different, yeah. Like we was talking about that earlier, right?
Yeah.
They were taking money from both sides, right? They was taking money from the legal market and taking money from the gray market because that was a lane that didn't exist. You know, it was a few bodegas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Botanica
yeah.
and stuff
Old
like
school,
that in the
but
back
but
days.
there's
Yeah,
an
you remember
old school.
Botanica?
Of
Botanica?
course, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Rivas, I think the Botanica was Milagrosa. I think it was called Milagrosa. You know, there was a toy store. Toy store is famous. But they had a hard enough time. So imagine now all these guys just come in. They already got the storefronts, right? They've been there for years. And now they getting their weed and they pushing it right through, and you ain't worried about nobody coming through your door because it's legal. You know what I'm saying? So how does that make? It's got to be terrible to be incarcerated right now and seeing all this happen.
Oh,
You know?
man.
You know, shout out to my boy Randy Lanier, the 27 years behind this.
Yeah, homie from Florida. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, he's a
yes.
legend. He's a legend.
Yes,
He's a legend.
yes.
Yeah,
Really good guy. But you know, and came out and yo, he's not angry. Like he's good. He just wants to be happy and live
the
his
boat
life.
racer.
Yeah. No.
car racer. Car racer.
Yes, independently, my brother. Independently,
was-
like
was
yo, his
wild.
story. Yeah.
That shit was wild.
So I got to take a ride with him up to Sebring, to a racetrack. We went to go see a race one day together, and you know he taught me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like still, you know, people be like, "Yo, OG," that I'm an OG. Yeah, but there's older G's. You know what I'm saying?
Older
and I'm still
Gs.
getting schooled.
Right.
You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I still listen. I still lend the ear to always get a piece of advice from somebody definitely that's lived the same life that I have. You know what I'm saying? But I learned a lot from him, bro. He's been a great friend.
So now you see this, you know, you see the menus, 5,000 shops. I think New York already is about to hit 200 legal stores, and I think they already generated like $400 million legally on top of the gray market and the smoke shops and everything.
No way.
Yeah. So now, where do you see this? You, a person that saw it from the beginning, 1988, going in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, like as far as like the New York market, the New York State market, if this is just the beginning.
Yes. I think the New York market is going to be difficult because I think New Yorkers are loyal, right? And a lot of them can be loyal to their line where they get their cannabis from. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's one thing about, you know, New York is that it shows loyalty. So I'm sure the stores will gain traction. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, there's always a market for that. And again, I mean, how many visitors do we get to New York a year? You know what I mean? That can just walk in and buy. But I think that the people that are well rooted will survive. You know what I'm saying? Till whatever needs to happen for them, whatever deals, because everybody wants a deal. Everybody wants now to have the satisfaction of feeling like, you know what I'm saying, all this fight wasn't for nothing. You know? So watching that develop and seeing how legacy or traditional market is able to evolve into this new market and be successful is I guess what I'm hoping to see.
Well, already so far, I think New York State's the first state that even allowed really promoted to try to let people from legacy in. Like from my understanding, like in the West Coast, if you had a record, they didn't even want you to, like, it barred you from even trying to get in the legal market. So we already, at least, you know what I mean, seeing some people already, you know what I mean, cross over, you know what I mean, at least there's there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's a hope. You know what I mean? Over there, it was like you're in the grave, stay in the grave, from what I heard.
Leaving the gray market and going into the legal market is also something that is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give a super big shout out to Blackwood Grower.
From the Heights.
Yeah, he's from the Heights. His dad and Kevin and I go back a long time. You know what I mean? Shit, 30 plus years as well before Nell was born. But he was born in a time where his mentality was really based on loyalty with the bringing up of his family. The Cubans, very strict, and it's about loyalty. So when I was able to get into the legal market, it was having him. He was our grower at that time, and he understood the legal side because he had only worked in the legal market. You know what I'm saying? So he started out in Vegas, and so he made the transition for me easy because in our relationship, he understood how to explain it to me so it can make sense. You see what I'm saying? Because now it's an operation, my brother. Now you running, you got production schedule, it runs like a train, my brother. You can't derail.
Can't derail.
Can't derail.
Schedules and there's pressure and there's
that's it.
deadlines.
Yeah, man. So once when you have a facility, the team. Shout out to my team in Florida. Jeez, they're amazing. Anyway, without having that, like a lot of farms that you go to is the flower or the execution is not because the vibe ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And the vibe has to be right. And we've been able to build that community. You know what I'm saying? So we vibe. Everybody does a great job. But the truth of the matter is that for a lot of us that from the street to transition into this legal market and compliance and everything, it's frustrating, man.
Absolutely.
It's frustrating. Like like these rules ain't written for us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's a huge learning curve. So all I can say is that people that are coming into this industry that come from the gray market or the black market, take your time. You know what I'm saying? You only have one chance to bring your brand public, and when you're gonna do that, you need to understand the partnerships because you're gonna need partnerships. It's hard to do alone. You need that side that understands the rules to this shit because we didn't grow up with rules.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it's just what it is. But that made it easy. Yeah. So that made it easy. Having block work there definitely made it. So I say, it's about a team effort, and that's why I'm here. I didn't make it by myself. I started out west by myself, but I got my man Ryan with me that I met out there. You know what I'm saying? He runs a part of the garden. Block work. I had seen him. I had gone to see him. He was in Oregon. He was in Northern Oregon. I went to go see him, and I told him, if I hit off in Florida and I make it back, you gonna come? And he said, yeah, and kind of giggled at me, right? Because what I was talking was really big. And I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was just saying the same thing I told to Ryan. I was like, if I get to Florida, you gonna come? And here we are.
Wow. Can I ask? I'll ask the whole room. This question, right? Because I'm wondering, and I'm pretty sure everybody else is wondering as well. When does anybody think that we're gonna get some decent strains or fire in the legal world in New York? How long before that?
Well, I think one of the big problems in New York is when they opened up only with greenhouses, right? Or
no, they didn't even have greenhouses.
It was more the first people they gave the hemp growers to transition, so it was more like straight outdoor and then outdoor greenhouse shit like that.
But I know some growers out in New York. Chuck up at Adirondack Hemp Company, is it, Kev? Chuck, he's a great grower. I think now that in the facilities that I'm starting to see or that I've toured in New York, I'm seeing that it has the potential to create the product. And I've met some pretty good growers. I mean, you know, growers are not hard to come by nowadays. You know what I mean? Like anybody can grow. It's just the difference between, you know, growing weed or understanding and being a cultivator, right?
You got to dial in the genetics.
Right. A grower is going to give you weed, but it may not be as consistent. It may not be, you know, but exactly as you dial in and you tighten up and you put in the time, because every facility is different. Everywhere you go is different. All environments are different, you know. Even from like in the building we're at now, you know, some of the rooms where they are, and even though you have refrigerated panels and you're sealed in and whatever, the outside environment still plays. Yeah. So, so learning all these things is what gets you there, and it takes some time. So I can say, I don't know. I know there's good growers in the state, but some of them come from elsewhere, and maybe they need.
It's like Ramon said. Ramon always says, it's like it's 3 years. You know, the industry's an infant. These growers have only got to be in these facilities for the last 1, 2, 3 years. So just from a dialing in perspective, like from your experience and what you know, like how long does it take to really tighten up and do what you said? Like when you go to a new facility, a new place, because that's what everybody's doing. This is all new.
Yeah. I can say take at least 4 harvests to you understand what the room is doing. You know, you have transpiration periods and humidity spikes, and you know you got to get all these things in line. You know, and it takes a little while. You know, like it's just the environments. Like I have so many friends of mine that tell me that growing from the West Coast to now coming east, like they're having
2 different ball games.
100%.
So I mean, yeah. In other words, the product is coming, ladies and gentlemen. People are coming.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. The growers are
absolutely.
coming. You know, shit is coming.
Yeah, no, I've walked some nice properties, you know, and now that things seem to be getting worked out a little better and there's stores opening, I think people won't be as trigger shy to invest and build bigger farms and you know spend the money in technology. You know, yeah.
People don't know that shit ain't cheap, right? On the legal side.
Yo.
No, you gotta tell the people, because there's so many people that want to come, but they need to know all the implications.
You know, it depends how consistent you want to get. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I can't see facilities. You know, you have 1,000 square feet. You're looking at least 500 a square to build it. You know what I mean? So when you take that and then you expand it into these big, the money is crazy. Like you know, I had never seen like a fertigation skid. Like you know, we have a fertigation skid. It feeds all the rooms.
What's the fertigation skid?
Come on, fam. Come on.
Come on,
fam. Come on, fam.
Yeah,
Come on, fam.
It's crazy, yo. My brother's crazy. It mixes. You have your 55-gallon drums, you know, of your concentrated nutrients. You know, you put cycling lines into it, and bro, you set up these programs for feeds. You know, depending on what you want, what EC you want to run, so forth and so on. And my brother does everything for you. It mixes them. It'll dump the tank if something goes wrong with it. Like it's amazing.
It's like the Jetsons.
So
Because everybody as growers know about
Jetsons.
mixing these tanks, right? That shit is it's
Sounds like some Jetson shit. Like
yeah, no, absolutely. And once again, Blockwood grower, grew up in there. You know what I'm saying? Made his career there, and therefore made understanding how to build one of these places correctly a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? Now we have an amazing facility, like, you know what I'm saying? But how long we been there? We put plants in there, I think it was December of 2020. Right? December 2020.
So you've been past for harvest.
Nah, but it wasn't that easy. We didn't have all the hardware, and there was a lot of learning. Now I can say, you know, we had just environmental problems that happen in the industry. But now, you know, we're good. For quite a while, we've been putting out pretty consistent work. We're pretty proud of it, and we're competing in the market, and that's all we can ask for.
So right now, if somebody, I like my man Joe. I got $1 billion. Yo, come move to New York. Set your team up. Joe will set that up in 2 seconds.
Absolutely, but it's all about them.
'Cause that's what we need in New
Yes,
York.
sir.
We need
Yeah,
the true Yorkers that know how to rock out. Grow that
I
piff
don't
up here.
I talk about my career and I say it's GMO'd because, yeah, all right, I made it, but I'm not back home. I'm not back home and I'm not with these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys in this room mean a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? That right there, you have my godson, Gian.
Yeah, man.
His mom couldn't be here today, but the reason the weed block started, my block started selling weed was because one of my best friends got his girl pregnant really young, and he's like, yo, I gotta support this, which was weed, so they want to smoke weed or whatever, and that's how we got to opening the block. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this happened because of family. You know what I'm saying? Edwin and me, Ed Farms, we're not based off of weed. You know, his brother and me, we were really, really, really great friends, and his brother passed away. Yeah, mercy to Ness, yes, Angel. And he had a really good relationship with his brother, and I continued that. You know what I mean? So it's not based. Yeah, God's great. He's in cannabis and he's doing well, and he's out there enjoying his life. But it's not really. You know, Tito told the story of how we met. Miyagi, I have a long time relationship with his family, but Miyagi was a hermit like me. He didn't show himself much. And Kevin, of course, you know, is my brother. You know, Kevin, man.
Now, Kev's something else. Kev, we know, we all know.
Yeah. I can't even tell you. You know, the one person that set me straight whenever I need it. You know what I'm saying? You know, and vice versa, I guess. You know what I'm saying? We're each other's boundaries. You know what I'm saying? And you would never think that, you know, you can in a lifetime meet a homie like that just in everything. Like, you know, I get along great with his wife. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'll be in his house for 3 days and not see him, and be chilling with Sophie, and it's nothing. It's like being with sis. So it's a beautiful thing.
What's Joe's favorite strain?
Haze is my favorite strain.
Okay. It's okay that we get cliche, right? Why? Because now that you've seen everything, you the grow facility, illegal, legal, all the shits, why still Haze?
Why still Haze? Because I have to be loyal to Haze. Haze was loyal to me.
Hey.
That was a good one.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I smoke Haze. Like, you guys know now we on to the sour too. We're doing the sour, but that came later, but it was never my preference. Like, it was always Haze. Now, we want to talk about older, refined, where I am now. I enjoy terps. You know what I'm saying? I like a lot of terps, but I like stuff that's more like afternoon smokes that you can enjoy and smoke long. Cause shit's too strong for me now. Like, I take a like this shit. What we smoke? Oh, that's that raspberry. Forget it. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, but you see, I gotta turn it out because shit like really fucks
with
me
the
up.
candies.
Right. So I like the candies and I like the stuff that, you know, that I could smoke throughout the day and not get stoned and not have to respect the joint. You know what I'm saying? And be like, nah, I gotta put my Mac down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't fuck with it right now. But yeah, Haze, man. She's never let me down. We raised our families that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's never let me down. Why would I let her down?
There you go.
So now, you know, you got your team here, La Marina boys. You know that they coming soon to these, you know, to the market. What are the ways and strategies that y'all plan on entering the market, and how are you going to stand out from the herd of the other million brands that are trying to come to the New York market?
We're going to put Kev's face on the bags.
Hey, now you're on the right track.
Done. That's it.
Word up,
you know what I'm saying? Nah, but I think that, look, at the end of the day, everybody on the team can grow independently.
That's a strength right there.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a super strain. I think that our story is authentic. It's really New York. You know what I'm saying? And it's very heartfelt. Like, Kevin and I, up and downs with the Marina and everything that we've been through, like, you know, our appreciation is amplified, you know, to be here today. You know what I'm saying? Because you couldn't see that shit back then. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the Marina boys, any one of them can stand on their own. You know what I'm saying? Like they all grow, they all have history, and at the end of the day, I think that what we're gonna bring to the market is gonna be authenticity. It's always gonna be that New York shit. You know, we're gonna work off a lot of stuff that's based off of Hazes, Haze crosses, and just continue to give New York what we feel is a good representation.
Jordan, I told you the Cannabis Avengers, my brother. I'm telling you. Remember what you heard? You heard the preview here. So now you know. You told me what the plans of the Marina boys, but you haven't now, been doing this down there in Florida since 2020. From a grower's perspective, what's some of the favorite strains that you've been able to grow down there that you through this process?
Man, we grow so many. We grow a lot.
That's
Some right now, like I don't even see. I like a lot of TK shit. Shout out to TK.
What? See, but hold on, because you see, we don't know.
Yeah, he thinks we grow with all of us.
People,
my bad. We right. We good.
People don't know.
I'm a seller. I know how to sell a lot of it. I'm not a grower.
You gotta talk yo, this TK, he's famous for this thing, and he does this. What's going on?
This is what I'm gonna tell you. TK is a pretty bad motherfucker in his own right. He's a surfer. He's a painter, and he's a weed dude. His history is long. We won't let him come on here because I'm sure.
Yeah.
He likes to tell you about. He's known, or his recognition is for somewhere in the 90s where he had something go wrong in the house and hermed out. And from there is where they found the seeds that grew out to be the Triangle Kush and the OG Kush.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, so that's Marty says I don't remember his name, but I do remember your name, Marty. And I called him TK. He told my wife that the other day. he's like, I don't think Joe knows my name. So we work with TK as well. I grow a lot of his strains. Tahiti Twist is something special. We're growing the Zots now. Zots is pretty hot. One of my favorite, like old school strains that is anything that's fruity. What the fuck is the name of this cut? Rosé Especial.
Rosé Especial.
Yeah.
How do they come up with these names? At this point, I don't even keep track to this anymore. Yeah. I don't know what it means when you tell me a name, right? Like when you tell me Haze, I know what it means. When you tell me gelato, I know what that means. When you tell me sour, I know what that means. When you tell me Rosé Especial, I don't know what that means. I know it sounds great. It sounds like awesome. It sounds like a nice, like, I know it probably sounds smooth or something, but it, like, I don't know what, like, so, and there's so many names, right? Because in the legacy market, like the legacy guys now that got the tables, they got a bunch of strain names. So I don't really know what to, like, how to pin it, right? Like, I don't know how to pin the terp or the taste to the name. You know what I'm saying?
It's let me put it to something modern. Super Booth is pretty close, in flavor profile, you know what I'm saying, in the Rosé Especial cut that we have. It's not a high potent strain, or at least we can't grow it to that. Right. Because there might be other people that do better with it, right? Because at the end of the day,
how high can you go in Florida? How high? Like, because you said you can't go to a certain like percentage of THC or whatever.
Oh no, there's no limit. There's no limit. There's no limit. I don't know what's there. I know they said something about wanting to put, but right now there's no potency cap in Florida. But they might be in the future because they talked to him. I heard some rumors about some low percentage stuff, but right now there's no cap. There's a cap to the medical patient on how much their card will let them get a month. Right, but I'm not too sure how that works because I can't do that. Like everybody's like, yo, why you don't? I can't do that, man. You crazy? Like I can't have one. So as funny as it is, a lot of the stuff that I grow, I don't smoke it unless somebody goes and buys it and I get to try it.
Crazy.
Facts, because I don't have a medical card. Yeah.
So I heard in the barbershop, you know, we hear everything in the barbershop over here.
This is a barbershop room. I like it. This is a barbershop room.
Marina Boyz is not just possibly coming to New York. I heard they're also possibly going to Jersey.
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Oh,
barbershop is pretty accurate,
what does that mean? What does that mean? Right. What does that mean going to Jersey?
Well, Jersey. Jersey's super exciting. We've been working on some things over there. Poking around. We have a license, but you know, we've been looking at a property. Seen a couple that seem interesting. We've put in a couple of. So I don't know where that stands as of yet. I know that La Marina Boyz and Kev have a chance in going in somewhere else and somebody that's already growing, possibly with niche. And stuff like that was what Kevin spoke about, which again that's Nick and that's Dane. Dane's a fucking amazing grower. Like at the end of the day, it would be an honor.
That's why the fit is right.
Right. I already know. I already know what it is. I get it. I get it.
So if it was something that we couldn't do it on our own, you know, and be able to build this facility and get it done, man, I don't think there's too many people that would check all the boxes the way that team does. So, you know, shout out to them because they're doing killer stuff.
Came in first in the Billies.
Yes, took first in the Billies. Shout out. We missed that shit because Kevin and I, we always late. But yeah, they won the Billies, and you know, I think they just got plants in the building. So Jersey got some heat coming. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Before New York.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're on the fast track.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Dane grows some. For real, you gotta salute him. Yes, sir.
David, we missing anything before we go to David News?
Munchies.
The Munchies, my brother.
Mr. Connoisseur of the day. You gotta let us know what's your go-to Munchies, brother. Like, you know, and
damn, man.
David, just, you know, you just came home from working all day, smoking, and you know, what's your go-to?
Bro, I got this thing lately with Reese's peanut butter cups.
What do you mean you got this thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it is, man. It's like it's just talking to me, man. Like you know, then I try, like you know, they got them king size shits and all that, whatever. But I go and I grab the 2-piece, you know what I'm saying? And try to.
So what? So what's your go-to when you come in town to New York? Like, cause I know everybody does this. Everybody that's from New York and lives somewhere else and works, as soon as they get in town, what's like the first room? Yo, I'm gonna go get a pizza, or I'm gonna go get like, what's like the first thing? I'm gonna go get a cafe from Blase Blah.
Go to this restaurant,
like,
whatever.
What's like one of the first like foods you kind of like think of?
Flor de Mayo.
Flor de Mayo.
Flor de Mayo, send that tray over here. God said, you know,
Shout out to Jose.
Cut the check.
Flor de Mayo, yeah, absolutely, without a doubt.
Word up, man.
Yeah.
Send a picture of fruit punch,
which I'm sure is a room favorite, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on, that was like the fucking hood of Mr. Chow right there, baby.
Yeah,
like you had to be.
yeah.
That's how you knew you was on your way when you was going to Flor de Mayo.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Joe, so now that you know this reunion is happening, tell me what's the first time you heard about Happy Monkey? You heard about anything that we doing? How did the connection come back full circle?
Through Vanessa's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out to Vanessa.
Yeah,
shout out to Vanessa, right? The homie.
So Vanessa's from my block, and Dixon's my brother. That's her uncle. It's my brother too. Shout out to Dixon. And you know,
she's the boss.
I seen Vanessa grow up, and I think he told me that she was doing some baking or something with you guys when she first started or something. So that's the first time I heard of Happy Monkey, and I was like, oh, and then I started hearing, Happy Monkeys, they doing their thing in New York, and that's when I came down to see you guys, right? And I didn't know you was Tone's brother.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know none of that. I came to see you, and then you step in the room and Kev,
I'm like, Kev, where the fuck you been at? Because he disappeared. Like, he purposely, you know what I'm saying? And intentionally, which was smart, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, oh, shit, what's up? And Joe and Vanessa, reconnected all of us.
It's just
real
vibe.
quick.
It's family. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because at the end of the day, like, yo, we woven. Like, it's crazy. Kev, what was the first year that you came out? That was 21 that we went to the Emerald Cup. Bro, since 2015, since I went out west, I've been trying, and but once he went to the Emerald Cup,
stubborn.
He was like, oh shit, and I was like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like,
this is happening, right?
Like it's wild.
I tell my wife, I'm doing an Instagram page. I'm gonna start doing podcasts. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? She lost her mind. I was like, honey, it's different. It's different. I seen it. We going.
But facts. As soon as he lit up. Shout out to the Blake family for the Emerald Cup. But yeah, once Kevin got there, he was like, yo, and that was the year that we ran into Arjun and them, right? That we showed them the Haze, and they put their seal on it, man. That was big for us, Them, Todd McCormick, it's big to see guys like that. Shiloh, for all them guys to see it and recognize it as the truth, and give that's fucking amazing. Like, what did Arjun say? He's like, I don't even have this anymore, right?
Like, when did you get it?
Mm-hmm.
Like in '93. I lost it around '92. He says, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's the best weed on this whole fucking mountain.
Facts. So seeing that, Kevin tells them, Kevin's like, what was he telling? He was like, this plant's been very good to me, or whatever.
Made me a lot of money.
He said, me too.
Who says money doesn't grow on trees?
Facts. So, but after that, Kevin came back, and he just took off running. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. That's because I seen them, and I was like, bro, honestly, if not you, then who? Because at the moment, there is no one from that era that's around, and that can kind of come out the shadows, right? Because even the friends that we do know, they gotta live how they live. You know what I mean? But it's hard for any of them to come out the shadows if there's no real pathway, there's no real anything. So when I kind of seen Kev, I was like, bro, like, however you want to do, you good. Like, if anything, you should be getting your props because you are one of those, you are one of those guys, right? And you got to give love to those who came before us, right? Because if you're still around and, and you need a platform, this is what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? So I love the fact that we get to kind of host, legends that people don't know, but people that they do know you now, right? But even now, Joe, you know what I mean? I want this to kind of continue, you know what I mean? I want somebody from the Bronx, from Elliott, to come through. Yo, call me. Yo, I was there since 91. Yeah, come talk to us. You know what I'm saying? Because people got to know that New York got a history as well, right? And I'm not trying to be New York biased, but this is just where I'm from. Like it is what it is. This is the stories that I want people to understand, because this is a completely different culture that happened, right? This is not like the growing culture. Not everybody was growing over here, right, but motherfuckers was selling mad weed over here. So we want to be able to, tell everybody's story, as well as, bring on, at this point, bring on all the big folks, because everybody was here. Everybody saw it. You know what I mean? New York is a different monster. So I want people to get
Washington Heights and Dykeman, get them their due props, because
absolutely
they played the biggest role in the whole weed game, and there's not enough of us out there getting in yet.
Correct. So there isn't, but again, we got this conflict where a lot of them are still in the shadows. Some of them, just came home. Like, I know we know a lot of guys that can't even talk about this, right? So we're lucky that we can. So, again, shout out to them, right? And shout out to those who passed away, deported, locked up, all the shits. And thank you for coming. And again, even Kev and Tito and the crew, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Cannabis Avengers?
Yeah, man. So it becomes a situation where people now get to kind of reach out, you know what I mean? They'll reach out to you, you know what I mean? They reach out to Tito. They reach out to Vlad. Yo, yo, I want to get on, or let's talk, or whatever the case may be, right? Because now it gives them some sort of pathway, whether you want to start a brand, whether you want to grow, whether you want to fucking advertise, whatever you got going on, or whatever you want to talk about, we can do it, right? Because now that's it. You know what I mean? The world is different. You know, you could get on Instagram as long as you ain't doing nothing crazy. I don't suggest none of y'all to do nothing crazy because we ain't doing none of that shit. But, you know.
This is a real right cannabis sanctuary.
There you go.
You're a real right and you got history. This is a sanctuary and a place where we're going to give you your flowers and tell it like it is because, you know, people need to know, like Ramon says, every place has a story and a history. And we respect everybody's, and we just need people to respect ours too. And we gotta make sure that the people that put it in are getting the flowers, and the new people understanding that this just didn't pop up overnight.
Nah, it's been a long time coming. You know what I mean? It's been a long time coming. Like, cannabis was really misunderstood for so long, you know, and to see it here now and know that, you know, there's no closing the door anymore. It's exciting.
You just finished saying earlier, brother, you just went over it. You said it lightly, but I'm going to go deeper in it. You just said for so long you had to live a double life. You get what I'm trying to say? So because of those sacrifices, now this new generation will never have to go through that for all the fighting that happened for we just to be today. But people need to know that there were sacrifices that were made because like you living every day your life like that is not easy, and you and so many others had to do that.
I don't know how crazy this shit sounds, what I'm about to say, but I feel like part of that struggle builds the character that describes cannabis best. You have to be rugged. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go through shit to be shit. You know what I mean? You know, and I think that some of these kids nowadays, like, you know, I don't even know what the word is for it, but I just feel like there should be a bigger understanding for what we went through, and a little more respect for it. You know what I'm saying? And not so cocky, because at the end of the day, we went through some shit, and it changes, it molded us. Like you say, a lot of guys will come out. There's a lot of guys that'll probably never come out because of PTSD, no matter what. No matter what. Not
Traumatizing.
Not doing it. So I did it for my family. You know what I'm saying? I did it because it's really everything I knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we gotta go. We gotta get it. We gotta go get it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it wouldn't have been possible without Kev. You know, it wouldn't have been possible without the friendship and the trust that we have in one another and the support. You know, so now it's time to get to the Northeast and get it for real. And
they got fat while we starved. It's our turn, Joe.
Hell yeah, 100%.
Joe, I got a really important question, and you being a Uptown trailblazer from everything you told us from back then and now, I really value your perspective because, like Mo said, like you just not from up there, but you got to travel and see the game all around, and you know have a different perspective than somebody that never left. So, how do you feel that? Like I mentioned earlier, this summer we're gonna open the first legal dispensary up in Dykeman. You know, how do you feel like what that means for that up there, for us, for whatever your perspective is?
This is what I'm gonna tell you. So, like I told you, I grew up on 181st, right? So, when that McDonald's opened on Broadway, that was big in our time as kids. You know what I'm saying? And I think now as an adult, seeing HAPPYMUNKEY open up on Dykeman and roll up those gates for the first day and be like, yo, come in, it's pretty fucking dope. Because, you know, es uno de nosotros. You know what I'm saying? And that's important, man. And in the Heights, Dykeman, well, Inwood really, right? But shit.
Uptown, baby.
Like
crazy.
that's like for real. That's amazing shit, man. So seeing you guys being able to see that and seeing your family too, you know, and seeing how you guys mesh and get along and make it happen. that's something that people can take notes from and understand that, you know, you gotta have a community to get to where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? And you guys definitely represent that very well, very well.
Well, it's like you said though, because we stand on the shoulders of, like, you know, all of the people like y'all that came before us, and we just trying to carry on tradition because, you know, this legal thing is happening. And like you said earlier, all those blood, sweat, and tears, all those things that happen is in vain if, you know, we don't pass those traditions and those, you know, those tribal values, moral principles, and values to this industry. Because if we don't bring in, like you said earlier, there's no reference.
Correct. Then you're moving blind. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. And again, like, man, the internet nowadays, like, it's so easy. Like, it's changed so much, and the information highway is so clear. Understand that we didn't have that. So when we carried this torch, like, we carried it for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just different. I'm just saying, just understand that, right? And respect that and move from there, you know? But today, these kids, I think that they're moving so far away from tradition that there might be some sort of disconnect.
Of course.
You know? Because this industry is big and it has a lot to offer.
I got a question. We asked Kev, but when we asked Kev was like, bro, I was so deep in my Haze cave that I didn't even understand other weed was out. So for you, when did you see, like, the transition of, like, the world going from Haze to, like, the flavor menus of the world? Of
Baskin Robbins, 67 flavors a person.
Yo, doesn't a lot of it taste the same? I'm just asking at this point. Like, look.
When did you look up and go, oh shit, mad different, like, strains, right? Because in my world, you know, we lived in the, you know, Haze, Gorilla Glue, sour world or whatever. Then, you know, once Cali opened its floodgates and all that shit, and every other state, when did you kind of feel that transition?
I mean, I had seen some of it just because of the market in Florida, the traditional market, you know. But when I went out to Washington and we had to buy our first cuts first season, yo, the list of I was like,
more names than people.
Yo, for real, I was like, oh shit. So then, you know, me, I ADD on shit sometimes, so I had to go in deep and whatever. But that's, I think, was my real shock as to where, you know,
where we
were really at. Yeah, because
like,
at the end of the day, East Coast was, yo, Haze forever.
Yeah, man. So it's like, it was a
big
deal.
We're loyal to the strains.
That's
exactly.
right, we're loyal, you know, and it was forever. So, but when I saw that list, yeah, for real, like I was taken back.
We talking 2015, and I know we just throwing that around, but that's 9 years ago at this point, right? Because that's like,
yeah, I've been on that treadmill for 9 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's been fast, like it's been fast. Like it just goes by. The time just goes by. You know.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now we here, my
man. David into this. My man, Cannabis CNN. What's going on out here?
Right, so David got some cannabis news for us, and he always give us a couple questions and like give us what's going currently in the world.
I got a funny one right now. Red Lobster filed for Chapter 11, citing all-you-can-eat $20 endless shrimp for the reason the company lost millions of dollars. How do you feel about Red Lobster closing?
What? I didn't even know they was closing. Damn, I didn't even know they was going broke, God. What's going on?
You way too much shrimp.
Damn.
That can be your downfall. Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere. I read it somewhere, but it didn't impact me like it's impacting me right now.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
shit, I'm allergic to shellfish, so I'm not eating any of that shit. But I would never think. I just love the bread. The bread was the popping part. There, yeah. The fucking biscuits was retarded. That shit is crazy, man. They need to Red Lobster.
That should be a lesson for the cannabis industry because they went out of business because of the a race to the bottom, which the cannabis industry should learn about, where, like, you know, sometimes you think it's gonna help you for the moment to just keep driving the price down, but eventually, you know, you drive yourself out of business.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Okay, well, Red Lobster, hire my man so we can get that bread. You know what I mean? Hire my man, God.
R.I.P. Next one. So a study came out saying daily cannabis use in the U.S. outpaced daily alcohol use. For the first time, daily cannabis use has outnumbered the number of daily alcohol drinkers. And I was curious what your thoughts on the study and what are you guys seeing in your own circles?
Where? In New York or
Oh,
like
it's
in
all
the
over,
world?
all over
In
the
America.
country. America.
In America.
Yeah.
Well, goddamn. Shit, I remember this used to be like a secret society, like the smokers, right? Like even in the blocks, right? And get, you know, in the blocks, there was like a circle of dudes who smoked. Not everybody smoked, right? Now it's just like everybody smoking. Fuck it. I mean, I told you so,
There's more
everybody.
education now, education on the cannabis now. So now that Viejita smoking the oil because she had back pain. So of course it's gonna outweigh the alcoholism. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, man.
Society's just better for it.
There you go. That just keeps proving us right. So y'all that shit, you know.
And you know, and then the other thing is like what we mentioned a little bit earlier, the taboo. There was always the people that used it in college, they used it when they was young, like you said earlier, and then like, oh, I got this good job, I don't want to be seen around, yada yada. Now it's like it's legal, so it's like I don't got to worry about none of that shit. You know what I mean? I think that combined with the fact that, you know, we just seeing it here in New York in a microcosm where like it's only been 3 years, but when you speak to anybody that's in nightlife or in alcohol, all their sales went down since cannabis went legal, because it's just like that's what you see. So now it's crazy to hear that's happening all over the country.
I think it's about time. For real, like that cannabis is accepted to the level where it can outpace alcohol.
Crazy.
I think that I think that it, you know, it can only get better from there. But I did see that the other day. That did impact me. I thought about that shit and I was like, are we gonna be able at some point to support what America really is gonna need in cannabis when this thing opens wide open? or is that when exporting is gonna open up in order to support like other countries and us, like, because there's a lot of weed smokers, man. There's
I think when it finally goes federal,
if it's outpacing alcohol now.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, right, because at the end of the day, you go in any store and you got beer, and so what can we see for cannabis?
Oh nah, man. By the time we do that, I think America is the place. This is the one thing that we produce that we got better than the rest of the world is weed.
We say there's not many left things that
We don't produce anything. Nobody buying shit from us, right? So it's like, but motherfuckers buying weed.
art,
Culture
and
and
weed.
That's it, my nigga. The best weed is in America. You know what I
Right,
mean?
which you can really just wrap into culture.
You know what I mean? So
Right? Like,
everything culture. So that's what we got.
oh yeah.
That's it, David. What you got for us?
I'm actually curious. What's what's your summer soundtrack? It's June. It's hot outside. What are you guys listening to?
Oh, summertime jams.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What am I? I'm still on my Afrobeat vibes. I'm on Afrobeat vibes. I'm on my fucking, like, you know, I'm on the beat somewhere in my head sometimes. But yeah, I'm on my Afrobeat vibes still, man. Right now, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Right now, you know what I mean? Not a lot of new things moving me, but I like some of the, you know, the new stuff, like new Latin artists like, you know, Mike Towers, Bad Bunny. I'm more like leaning on the Latin side more than the hip hop side right now. Right now, I don't feel like there's nothing really shaking too much.
I mean, if you want to mention a little bit of hip hop, the one song that I do like, and we could, you know, is your man, the Kendrick shit. Y'all not like us. That shit, they not like us. They not like us. That shit is sideways. It's just, and it just sound good. I ain't even like get into the whole, like, you know, what he's dissing everybody. I just know the shit just sound popping. You know what I'm saying? So, if it's man, it's just, you know, it's hard, my nigga. It's hard.
I can agree with that. I've been actually, I haven't been listening to a lot of new stuff, man. I've been stuck on satellite radio, listening to disco and
Old school shit.
Yeah, man. I've given up a little bit on hip hop, and so sometimes like I just think it's too much, and I like to take myself back to an era where I grew up and feel in that space. Yeah, hip hop is fast right now. Like hip hop, like lyrics is hard right now. You know what I'm saying? It's an art form, and shout out to everybody, but. To me, sometimes I just need to take a break and go back. And
Chillax.
so I've been stuck. Like on Saturday I was jamming, listening to Jelly Bean. Bro, I was
Jelly Bean Benitez.
Yeah, man. I was back there. I was in the club. Like
Brought
you know
you
what I'm
back to
saying?
that
Like
time.
yeah, like and I guess that's what it is. I think that now that I'm listening to a lot of music from my era, like. It pops up a lot of memories and a lot of stuff and whatever, and I guess it just keeps me in a happy space.
You know what? I don't think you going crazy. I think a lot of people feel this way. And look, even Method Man and Redman, they performed at Summer Jam, and they felt like, oh, this is not my crowd. There's like we're not performing here again, type of shit. You know what I mean? Because there's like some sort of like energy gap, and they were like first of all, Method Man and Redman performs they ass off. You know what I mean? They not lip singing. They not doing none of that shit. Them niggas is like doing a whole performance. So for them to feel like the energy is different, like that's it. It's that shit done changed. That's it. You know, and it's not for the worse. It is not for the bad, but for us it has changed now. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We had our time, and that's where we at. And I just feel more comfortable there. I do a lot of driving, B. So like, you know what I mean? Like. I just zone out. It makes me feel good. So I can't really tell you, but that Kendrick Lamar shit is alright.
Actually, I have a question. Since you're in Florida growing, right? It seems like cannabis is going to be an election kind of decision down in Florida. And I was curious, how will the market change in your eyes going from medical to legal down in Florida?
I think that the boom will outpace the square footage that's available now in Florida. So there'll be a lot of farms that would need to be built to support the retails, which is all possible. But if it was to boom in Florida, being such a transient state, I don't know how many visitors Florida has a year,
but that's what I was gonna say. Like, people, just us. But Florida consumes mad weed too. Florida is like
they smoking.
It's a Florida's big one, but think about it. You drive into Florida, you drive like another.
I'm
almost here. I'm going to Miami, 15 hours away, 12 hours away.
That's just no joke. Yeah, that shit. They got that shit. Yeah, that's just a whole nother planet. Yeah, they got a bunch of different cities in Florida. That shit is no joke.
But here's a little fact. In Florida, they say that a lot of the South Florida cannabis retailers, those are like the slowest stores. They say that traditional market still has a strong hold, as compared to the northern part of the state.
Yeah, because it's medical. They can't compare. They're not gonna compare.
I just think that it's hard to go get a license to go buy weed. To me, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So I think for a lot of people as well, it may be where the demographic is more culture. They hold the line. But that's facts. The South Florida stores, they don't do as well.
I wanted to ask you, my brother. You just such a, person that is cultured, experienced, and seen a lot in life. We ask everybody that comes on here the $1 million question. If you had to describe Happy Monkey in one word, whatever you feel about it, know about it, what the movement represents, what would it be and why?
One word. Wow. Blessed.
Blessed. Nobody's ever used that one before.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think to survive everything that you guys have been through and to be here, and store in New York. I think there's a lot to be thankful for. But that wasn't the question because that's about you guys. That's about Happy Monkey. I'm gonna tell you something fucked up. I never been to a Happy Monkey party.
Wow.
Yeah,
You wasn't around.
I missed them. So, if I would have to say something about Happy Monkey and what it represents, I have to go with community. And I think that's what Happy Monkey means to me, is community, because that's what you guys did, you know. So I think that to me best describes Happy Monkey, is community.
Thank you, man. That means a lot because we're hoping to build community in these stores that we open as well, right? We've been a hub since the speakeasy days, you know. And when I say a hub, it's like we're able to connect legacy with athletes, with weed nerd, with doctor, with Vlad and Ramon and David and the family. We brought our families and the Tito's. We got to kind of like connect everybody in the room, and we kind of want to continue that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, no, it's facts. So I'm looking forward to a Happy Monkey party. All right, cool.
Hopefully we got to celebrate.
Work on that. We're gonna get that.
A la Marina, man. That's what we need. And there's nothing more historic or more legendary than a Happy Monkey party in La Marina. I'm just saying that'll be retarded.
You manifesting it.
That I'm trying to put it in the air to the worlds that be, to you and me. You know, let it be that we celebrate in La Marina. Boom. Come on, guys.
Yeah, this has been amazing, man. Fucking having the Cannabis Avengers in here and us just going down and seeing, like, people say there's like 6 degrees of separation, but in this room is like half a degree of separation, because it's just like one way or another, everybody's connected. Because this community, like you said, was small in legacy, and it's small now of like people that, you know, still carry on tradition like us. And it's just crazy how there's a connection some way, somehow.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like Vanessa, that was I was like, what? Like, huh? Like, you know, but it's true. And the more you go into this community, you see that, you know, there's just a lot of people. There's just a lot of good people in here. So we expect a lot of good things.
Wow.
So how do the people, Joe, stay connected to what you got going on, La Marina, Boyz, etc.? Where do they go? Where do they keep track of like this movement?
White Boy Kev.
and Freedom Town and Freedom Town.
Yeah, so my IG is at Joe the Hard Way, Florida. We run under Freedom Town Holdings. You know, a lot of people get that confused with me because they see me doing things down there and up here. But the truth of the matter is, you know, La Marina Boyz is different. You know, it's not business. It's love.
Yeah, it's a collective.
It's love, and I'm super look forward to what we have to offer in New York, and Jersey, and Florida. So, at the end of the day, man, I look at these guys and I'm just happy to be here with them.
Guys, did we forget about anything? Should we talk about anything? Did we forget about?
How was that Miyagi sour I gave?
Oh, my man, Mr. Miyagi in here. You can't be happy.
Bring the sour. We can't forget about the sour.
I just smoked the shit out of that sour. It was good money. That shit hit like it was supposed to. Sour. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh shit. And I smoking Dutchess. I was like, that's it. I smoked my blunt. Then I smoked this. I haven't smoked yet. I would have rolled another one. I'm just like, all right, I'm good. Like.
At Farms Haze in here.
At
Farms Haze in here, Mr. Miyagi. My man, Titans Greenery. We got like the fucking.
Why you waving it over there, yo? Bring it over.
Let me see. Listen. This is how Piff is supposed to get to your life. All right. If it don't come in this bag, you did not get Piff. It was an imposter. They faked it to you. You see what I'm saying? It's supposed to the little test and all that shit. It was crazy. All right. And when you opened it, it smelled like somebody's garage. All right. So yeah, this is Piff, man. Shout out to F Farms, man. Thank you, brother. This is fire. I'm not gonna lie. In the bag.
My brother, it's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank y'all all for coming through, man. Y'all, we done gave everybody out there, like, you know, from 88 to 2024, you know, from Oregon, Seattle to Florida to NY. So, you know what I mean? Thank you all for tuning in. Thank y'all all for being here. For everybody out there,
man.
hope if you learned anything, keep it real, don't squeal, don't steal, and life will hand you a good deal. Till the next episode, peace, love, and happiness.